Good morning. I was pondering something. When you have runners that you coach that suddenly ghost you, suddenly start not running, it can start very early on in the program, or it can start later. And I've often wondered about this, and I put myself in their shoes, or try to, and I think it's about the internal struggle we have with ourselves, where we want to do a thing and we put it on a pedestal. All the time it's away from us, that we can say, oh, I really want to do that. I want to get better at that. And I've had neighbours who live near me, I'll run home and they go, I've always fancied improving my running. I've always fancied improving your running. And then sometimes when you get actually near to do it, it becomes real. Either you get yourself your first proper plan, or you hire a coach. That thing that's in the distance on a pedestal that you can say, yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that sometime. You suddenly are doing it. Now, you'd think that would be the exciting bit. But all the time something's actually on a pedestal far away, it's kind of perfect. It's kind of like you can look at it and you're not in it completely. So you're kind of like still pristine. Whereas the moment you're kind of in it, you've got to face the fact or the emotion that you might not do it. And for some people, this becomes overwhelming. I think this is my guess, is it becomes real. You know, from our perspective, you know, as a coach, we are then talking to them, because I'm holding, you know, when I coach somebody, I go from the perspective that, you know, you have enough. You will do it. You know, if you work with me, then you will do it. It's going to happen. You know, I mean, obviously there are variables. You know, people can get injured, or there can be outside stuff with family or work. I get that, but you know, that aside, you will do it. Now, I always look at that as a coach as a positive. You know, and when I've been coached, I always look at that as a positive. You know, having somebody in your corner that is like, yeah, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. But weirdly, for many people, that can be scary, because, and I never used to understand this, but then somebody explained it to me, and I thought, I've done that. Not perhaps with running, but with business things where I've had a plan. And all the time I'm planning it, it sounds perfect, brilliant. Oh, it's the best plan ever. Oh, brilliant. And then when I get near to it and it starts to become real, it kind of loses its kind of shininess. It's kind of like, becomes a little bit grubby and not perfect anymore. And I'm like, perhaps there's another plan I could do. And so then you get, in running context, you get runners that suddenly are moving away from the thing, you know, because then they're suddenly like looking at another way of doing it. Now, where's the teaching or learning in this? I'm just saying, if you've ever recognised it's in yourself, because when I was shown this, I suddenly recognised it in me in other areas, perhaps not running, to be fair, but in other areas of my life, and I thought, oh my God, yes, I've done that. And that kind of like that perfectionism moving me from one thing to another. Whereas if I was stuck with something, I would have achieved it. I would have got what I needed. So all I'd say is if you've done that with plans or coaches, just be aware of it, because it's powerful. Because, you know, if you're going to do something and you've wanted to do it for a long time and you've got the opportunity to do it, remember that there will be probably likely that point where you get to a point where when it becomes real, when it becomes grubby, when the rubber meets the road, or whatever terminology you want to use, that you might want to have that urge to hide initially. And weirdly, when you got somebody in your corner that really believes in you, which you think, would be perfect, but it can actually be a bit, I don't know what the word, not off-putting, but, suddenly you got to do this. It can be a bit kind of overwhelming, I guess. And this is my thinking as a coach sometimes when this happens, because you look at it and you go, what could I do differently? And there are things always you can do differently. But the one thing you can't do is ultimately stop this, because it's something within the person's mind and it's not always obvious, and they're not going to tell you, are they? But I'm just sharing it with runners, because if you've done it with plans, you've started many plans and never finished them, or you've perhaps had coaching and perhaps not seen it through. I mean, obviously, with the aside of if the coach wasn't right for you, but if the coach was right for you, but you somehow never saw the plan through, this might be it. I just thought I would share this on